Every word Mikel Arteta said about Partey's injury, Tierney's return, Arsenal's creativity, and Jesus' future. Arsenal's manager spoke to the press ahead of the Gunners' Champions League clash with AS Monaco. Team news: we have to manage many players. Some of them probably won't be fit for tomorrow, and others are still doubtful. We have 24 more hours to make these decisions, and I hope we make the right ones. How frustrating has this been? It is what it is. We must accept the challenge, and there are opportunities for other players to step up. Ideally, we are responsible for these decisions, but injuries are forcing us to make them for the wrong reasons. However, we have to accept reality and move forward. How difficult is it to play the football you want without the defense you want? I'm very pleased with how we're playing. The positive side is that it hasn't limited the team in a way that forces us to become a different team. I'm very satisfied with that. How the team is adapting and how the players are pushing to play in different positions. I hope the ideal situation will emerge very soon. Do you feel you need to create more chances from open play? We want to create from all angles, including set pieces. We could have created more from set pieces and should have scored 2 more goals. We're always trying to evolve and be better. Is the mood after Fulham different from previous setbacks? Yes, and the more I watch it, the more I can't believe we conceded and how we managed to draw that game. We need to adapt and keep our heads up. It was emotional, especially with that late goal being disallowed. We have to move on. Every 3 days is another opportunity, and we must keep going. What did you learn from last season's Champions League campaign? We have to do many things we do in the Premier League. It's easy to view the Champions League as something different, but how big is the Premier League? How big is the Champions League? We face incredibly tough opposition every week. When we play a team as good as Monaco, who are doing well, we're accustomed to that because we face tough opposition every week. But the Champions League does have differences. We've learned about scenarios that are different, but there are many similarities. We have to compete in the same way we do in the Premier League, day in, day out. Have you noticed any change in Odegaard since the birth of his child? That's for him to discuss, but I'm really happy to see him grow, surrounded by our club and people. We want him to feel that this is the right environment for him to grow as a person, as a player, and now, as a father. We're all happy with this great news for the team. Is Josh Nichols available? He's been having some issues. We still don't know if he'll be available or not. How is Jesus doing with his lack of goals? Like all strikers, they go through phases. It's true that the gap has grown quite big, but a lot has happened, injuries and not starting many games. His attitude has been very good, as it always is. We'll support him as much as we can. There are reports from Brazil suggesting he may leave in January. Any comment on that? No, that's nonsense. You said after Chelsea that injuries were an absolute nightmare. Are you starting to feel that way again? I expected things to improve, and they have. But very quickly after the first game, we started to face problems. Probably more than we expected. Honestly, the good news is that the team reacts and keeps playing the way we want, regardless of who is playing. I think that belief is within the team, and that's very positive. Is Tierney ready to start? He's ready. He's been training very well and will certainly get an opportunity. Given how the team is shaping up right now, he'll get that opportunity because he deserves it. The way he's conducted himself and his attitude toward being with us makes him deserving of this chance. And when that happens, you have to give players those opportunities. How do injuries impact team dynamics? Yes, because they haven't played together enough. You have to make adjustments, especially regarding the wide game. Sometimes you have 2, 3, or no left-footed players, which affects our attacking dynamics in certain ways. But we have to adapt and find ways to overcome that while remaining efficient and positive in how we want to play. It's been a good challenge. Does anyone know why injuries keep happening? It's a cascade effect. We have many joint injuries, like knees, that are very difficult to predict or assess. Some tackles are hard to avoid. Another factor is probably overload, the amount of minutes they are required to play. The cascade effect of missing 1 or 2 players means you have to put more stress and minutes on others. That's not an ideal shift because the consequences and loads on other players end up being far greater than you want. But this is where we are. Are you worried that you're not creating enough from open play? No, I'm not worried. Watching the games and seeing what we've created from open play, and what the opposition has created from open play, I don't think we could do much more. Especially when you look at Fulham and how they played in previous games. Set pieces also come as a consequence of what we do in open play and what we do defensively. It's a phase that's part of the process. I know you see them as separate, picks up 2 water bottles, but I see it as interconnected, open play and set pieces. They're all part of the same restart process. I respect that, though I don't agree with it. What do you think of Monaco? I'm really impressed. A very good side. When you look at their run in the Champions League and in the league against top opponents, they're a real threat. They're well organized, intense, and excellent in transition. It will be a great test for us tomorrow. What are your memories of playing against them with PSG? Yes, very good. We have a strong connection with Arsene and Thierry. There's a great history there. It's a very special club with a very special place. We'll welcome them here and aim to be better than them and try to win the game. Jurrien Timber's injury presents a new challenge for Arsenal, with Mikel Arteta's favoured lineup further depleted ahead of the Monaco clash. Arsenal is facing an overwhelming injury crisis that, worsened by Jurrien Timber's absence, threatens to derail Mikel Arteta's ambitions this season. The injury woes at Arsenal have reached a point where it's hard to ignore how much they are affecting the team. 13 players have already been sidelined, with some more crucial to Arteta's plans than others, resulting in a staggering total of 98 games lost. Last season, Arsenal suffered key injuries at critical moments, with Timber's knee issue being particularly damaging. This injury effectively kept him out for nearly the entire season, and it's widely considered one of the worst injuries a footballer can endure. Timber was carefully managed after his return, but now he's facing a serious setback, especially with his 2 competing right-back options also unavailable. He's already missed 4 games this season due to issues stemming from his previous serious injury. In his absence, Ben White was often the go-to substitute, but White has been plagued by knee and joint problems that forced a decision during the last international break for him to undergo surgery. He's already missed 10 games and will likely be out for even more. Takahiro Tomiyasu, who has played just 1 match this season, an early outing against Southampton, has since been sidelined again and missed 21 matches in total. With Tomiyasu and White out, the pressure on Timber to be available has been immense. The situation worsens with the left-back issues. Due to injuries, Timber was forced to cover the opposite flank. Summer signing Riccardo Calafiori has missed 8 games this season and is now sidelined again after recurring problems. Oleksandr Zinchenko also missed 8 games before returning for the Manchester United match, only to be injured once more. Even young Miles Lewis-Skelly has just returned from injury, and Kieran Tierney, who missed 18 games due to a serious tendon issue, still hasn't featured in any senior or youth level games due to the heavy fixture schedule and the timing of his return. If Timber faces another injury or is forced to rest, Arteta will be left with very limited options. The Dutchman was notably absent from the open training session ahead of the Monaco game, which could force Arteta's hand. Arteta has used Thomas Partey at right-back with varying success, but historically, the club's win rate drops below 50% when Partey plays in that position. Youngster Josh Nichols made his competitive debut against Bolton in the League Cup and showed promise, but asking him to step up in a Premier League game is a daunting prospect, as he is not yet considered in the same category as Ethan Nwaneri or Lewis-Skelly. Calafiori has also played at right-back but is currently unavailable. The final option may be to change the system entirely, switching to a 3-at-the-back formation and using Bukayo Saka and one of the left-wingers as wing-backs. This would be a huge surprise, but in this case, necessity may force the move. With Champions League and League Cup fixtures intensifying the winter schedule, and the FA Cup kicking off in the new year with 2 additional European games, Arteta will have to find ways to navigate this growing injury crisis. The January transfer window may prove crucial in addressing the situation and providing much-needed support.